Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Property Finance Podcast. So obviously we get asked a lot of questions. So one of the things that I wanted to do was create a frequently asked questions series whereby every week we'll just answer a frequently asked question, cover something off and hopefully answer it in as much detail as we possibly can so that when you have a question about finance, come to the podcast, find it, have a listen, and then if you have any questions off the back of that, obviously you can get in contact with us directly. So the first one that I wanted to cover, and this is one that comes up pretty much every single deal, and that's how long will it take? So people want to understand how long the process is going to be. They want to understand how long the application is going to take, how long the professionals are going to take, and just in general, how long that entire process is going to take from application to drawdown. Obviously, it's a massive factor when you're going for a property purchasing. You are going to that vendor and you are promising, right, okay, we'll get completed in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the timescale is. And then all of a sudden you go for finance and find out, well, actually the finance is going to take twice that amount of time, or potentially the finance can move quicker than what you've agreed. And there's lots of different things. So understanding that timescale will enable you, when going and negotiating with vendors and estate agents, to actually put forward an offer that sort of fits in with those timescales that you've got. So when it comes to bridging finance, that is by far the quickest finance that we deal with, without a shadow of a doubt. So I would say from the point of application to drawdown of funds, you are looking anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. It can be done quicker than that. But what I tend to caveat that with is that it depends on your solicitor, it depends on the lender solicitor, it depends on how quick the valuer is, because especially at the moment, at the point of filming, we're in the height of summer, height of school holidays, we're in the height of everyone going on holiday. So at the moment, we are going and speaking to valuers and they're saying, well, it's going to take us 3 weeks before we can even get out to the property. Then you're talking another week before they get their report back. So obviously that adds 3-4 weeks to the process before you've even started. So I think time of year as well makes a massive difference as well. Obviously August, December, pretty much complete write-offs. August, everyone's off for summer holidays. December, everyone's off for obviously Christmas. So everyone shuts down kind of 2/3 of the way into December. So that time of year obviously makes an impact as well. So bridging finance, as long as everyone lines up, then you're looking probably 4 to 6 weeks. When it comes to development finance, there are more people involved in that process. So obviously there are more opportunities for delays. So you've got your application process, which obviously we've spoken about on other podcasts. But then once you get to valuation stage, if the valuer can move quickly, great, that helps. You've then got the quantity surveyor. Again, you're looking for them to move quickly as well. And then obviously you go into the legal process with your solicitor and the lender's solicitor as well. When it comes to the QS and valuer, so a lot of it will be broker and obviously lender dependent. We need to make sure that the valuer or the valuation and the quantity surveyor go out at the same time. However, obviously that then falls onto you as to whether you want to pay for both of those at the same time, because obviously there's that risk of, if you pay for the valuation, for example, then maybe the QS isn't going to come back with what you want. If you pay for the QS, the valuer might not come back with what you want. So you kind of need to decide if you want to pay for those independently, one after the other, just to make sure everything's right within the queue, or whether you want to pay for everything in one go. So that completely depends on you, but obviously bear in mind, if you pay for the valuation first, wait for that to come back and then pay for the QS, obviously you're going to add a couple of weeks delay on there. So development finance, again, as long as everyone's lined up and you're paying for everything in one go, I would say you can get development finance through in 8 to 10 weeks. That tends to be the approximate timescale. And that's purely because there's a lot more information that goes into development finance than bridging finance. Obviously, there's a lot more in terms of breakdown of build cost, breakdown of GDV, etc., going through experience, making sure that the contractor is solid, etc. So there's a lot more involved in that process. So bridging finance, 4 to 6 weeks. Development finance, 8 to 10 weeks, obviously as long as everyone lines up. Then you get into mortgages. This is where it's pretty much impossible to kind of guess how long these things are going to take. I would say on average at the moment, with a good fair wind behind us, we can get a mortgage through in probably 8 weeks. That being said, the average time for completion at the minute for a mortgage is anywhere from maybe 3 to 4 months. So you're talking anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. And the reason being is purely because the solicitors, the legals involved in that process are just slowing things down so much. And we've found that the underwriting process for a mortgage now is so much more intense, that there's so much paperwork that has to be given, and then you give a bit of paperwork. It takes 7 days for them to then turn it around. So they look at that bit of paper for 7 days, then they turn around and say, oh, actually, we need this other bit of paper. Then we're going to sit on that for 5 days. Then we're going to ask you for another bit of paper. So it tends to be that actually that application process is significantly longer because because of the quantity of deals that they're dealing with, it's so much slower to get things through. And it's very computer driven, very underwriter driven, whereas bridging and development finance, it's very much, here's a pack of information, underwriter looks at it, yeah, great, here's credit approval, done. Whereas with the mortgage, it's right, we need X, Y, Z. Oh, actually, we now need A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the whole way through the alphabet. So it's very, very difficult to quantify timescale on that. But I would say if you're going for a buy-to-let mortgage, you're probably talking 2-3 months. If you're going for a commercial mortgage, so over a commercial asset or an HMO or a large block of flats or something like that, you've got to be talking maybe 3 or 4 months to get all of that done. And I would say the biggest delays there are, without a shadow of a doubt, the application process and the legal process. Valuation doesn't really slow that down all that much because it's just a valuer valuing one asset. They don't really need to go into as much detail as they do on a full red book valuation that they do on bridging, refurb and development finance. So they're kind of the timescales that we're experiencing at the moment. And hopefully that answers probably one of our most frequently asked questions. And if anyone's got any questions on that, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask us. But otherwise, I'll catch you on the next one.